Hi guys, Jen with Astro Tea. Today we are live here in the great state of Maine. It's a little windy this morning, but we're here to talk about the new moon in Virgo. Just like one of my favorite Duran Duran songs, we have the new moon on Monday. So this time, La Luna, I lit my torch and wave it for the new moon on September 2nd at 11 degrees Virgos. Oh, 80s. I'm sorry about that. I couldn't help myself. Anyway, the new moon in Virgo is falling on Monday. That's Labor Day, and I think that's very fitting. Labor Day here in the United States. Because that Virgo is just that hardworking, productive sign. Virgo is also a perfectionist, a discerning type sign. So when we have a new moon in Virgo, we are at a time of kind of fine-tuning things. We're cleaning out our closets, and that is literally and figuratively. We're cutting the clutter and getting back really down to the basics. So we know we must release what we have holding us back. This is a good time to work on self-care and our mental health as we get into the colder months. That sometimes can get a little bit worse. So we want to work on that now and just kind of release any of that negativity that's really kind of holding us down, keeping us back, making us not feel quite so happy as we should be. I like to think of this as the Hermit card, which is, the Virgo card in tarot. He only has what he needs for survival. So he has a lantern in which he lights the way, and that is really fine-tuning where he's looking. It's a small lantern. It doesn't have all the distraction of the peripheral around it. So it's really just being focused on your objective, and that's kind of what Virgo's all about, and just really fine-tuning, getting rid of everything else and all those distractions. So that Hermit card, he's really reserved, he's unassuming, and may withdraw in search of self-reflection, which is a great thing to be doing right now as well. Can be self-critical and nitpicky of others. If you know any Virgos, you know what I'm talking about. My husband has a moon in Virgo, and anyway, so Virgo is a Mercury ruled sign and is very analytical as well. At times overthinking things, very list taking, note taking. Those are the people you'd want to copy off of in school because they always took the best notes. The new moon in Virgo encourages us again to really get down to the basics. So we are just cleaning out. We want to release what's weighing us down so we feel that more freedom as we move into the new season. We want to have like our brains that might be feeling a little bit overstimulated at this time to just kind of be clear as we move forward. And as a mutable sign, it is what I like to call, especially Virgo as the mutable sign, I call Virgo like the cleanup crew. So it's getting rid of all that's kind of unnecessary in order to successfully close on one season and prepare for the new season, and that's the upcoming fall. I always say if you need somebody to hide a body for you, then you have a Virgo friend help you out. Anyway, so we are actually reaping what we are sowing, and this is actually the season. That's when we're doing this stuff. This is what we worked for, so we get what we work for. Virgo is that worker, but he's the worker bee that knows his job, and that is the focus. And just like with bees, they do what they're supposed to do, just back and forth, and there's no like bullshit in between. So associated with the 6th house also, it denotes our everyday work and routines, how we take care of our health, our bodies, our exercise routines, and even how we take care of our pets and our pets in general. So it's no coincidence, I think, that seeing everywhere on commercials and news broadcasts about clearing the shelters, the animal shelters, and adopting a pet. A lot of that, adopting a pet month, coincides with Virgo season, and that is that 6th house of pets. So we can very well, see what this new moon seed means for you. It could be maybe getting a new pet or something like that. We're going to get into every signs as we move through the video a little bit. I'm going to go through every signs for this because I think there's kind of a lot to unpack for all the different ones. But as we look at the current astrology that's going on elsewhere besides just this new moon, what else is going on in the sky, the aspects add that extra storyline to a normal Virgo new moon, and it really expands on its significance. So like, why is this different from every other Virgo new moon? Well, because of everything else that's going on around it. So we have Mars squaring Neptune, we have the Jupiter-Saturn square that's still having influence, and it's having influence with this new moon in an applying square with Jupiter and a opposition to Saturn. All this plays an influence, adding more and more layers to this new moon energy that's happening. So Saturn is really the adult in the room and can really add, that burden to the new moon, making that Virgo energy even more self-critical, even to the point of making you want to kind of just retreat back. Just that responsibility could be just, getting to you, as well as the square to Jupiter, can make it feel that you're just being pulled in a million directions and just like, oh my God, I have so much I have to do. You just want to get back in bed and pull the covers over your head and just get away from it all, because you just feel like there's just so much that's going on and so much responsibility and so much that, grown-up stuff you have to do, pretty much adulting. The Mars square to Neptune, that doesn't really help anything because we just don't know where to begin. It's just like, this is why Virgo needs to fine tune and needs to cut out the clutter, because our minds are all over the place right now. Mars squaring Neptune is just like, I don't know. I don't know where to start. And that mental exhaustion can really be a big factor. With Mercury about to really make its last square to Uranus. And remember, this is the third square to Uranus in its forward, then retrograde, and then back direct again cycle. We can really feel on edge with that, like a feeling of more and more coming out of nowhere and just, being dropped on our plate, like here, given more and more stuff, where you just feel like it's almost just making you tired just looking at it and thinking about it. With the full moon energy coming up being a partial lunar eclipse, and that is the full moon that's coming later in the month. That partial lunar eclipse starting eclipse season that's going to be in Pisces, that mind fog really isn't going to go away so easy. We don't know what is real, what is fantasy, what's truth, and what is deceit, and that goes along with a lot of what we're seeing on TV right now and a lot of what we're hearing, because we're just not really sure, okay, is that the truth? What's the truth? Now this one's changing their minds and this one's, saying this. And so what's the truth? What's not the truth? This is going to be still a difficult place to navigate a little bit. But on the bright side, and that full moon's happening, I think it's on the 17th to be exact. So we have a lot going on, a lot of confusion, a lot of changing of things before that's happening, a lot of like smoke and mirrors, I like to call it. But on the bright side, we do have a Uranus Pluto trine that can help clear the fog, at least internally, to give you a deeper perspective on your own life, on what's going on internally, so that you can kind of release what is holding you back. And see chilly in the background there. So how do we use this positive energy with this new moon? Well, to make that change, to transform yourself into the person you want to be. So what do you want to be? What do you want to focus on? If you're all over the place, what is the one focus that you want to kind of achieve? What, point that arrow at that, and let's get rid of all the stuff in between. So if you're unhappy, you want to look at what is making you feel that way and try and just release it. Release that unhappiness, release that burden. And it might take a lot of work. So releasing a burden might not be so easy as just like, oh, okay, I don't care about that anymore. No, it can be a lot. But, you want to be your own cleanup crew. You want to get rid of that old junk that's holding you back. Like those commercials where the truck comes and takes all the old junk from people and disappears and they're like, yay, everything's great. Well, it takes a lot more work than that, than just a truck showing up sometimes. But for your own mental health, you really need to act and to really be able to move forward. So let's look at how this will fall in your chart. So first, if you have a Virgo sun or moon rising, this is going to be in your first house. So that new moon will be anyway. So we need to let go of our excuses, our fears, and our self-degradation, our self-criticism, and kind of just, have a little more confidence in ourselves. So that is if we're Virgos, and Virgo rising can know how that is. So we have to kind of release that a little bit. And that is that's that first house. If you are a Leo sun, moon, or rising, it puts this into the second house. We need to literally clean out our closets and get rid of some of the stuff that we've accumulated. The second house is about all of our stuff, and that's what we need to get rid of, the stuff we don't need. Donating is great for good karma. You can donate to different charities. If you have extra, pet stuff, especially this is, Virgo has to do with a lot of pets and taking care of pets. Donate to shelters, even donate to women's shelters maybe, or something like that. Really good for your karma. It makes you feel good as well that you're doing a good thing and not just throwing things away. Cancer sun or rising puts this into the third house. Now that is about, you can be making amends maybe with close family or friends, letting go of animosity or ill will towards your neighbors. Maybe if you've had like this ongoing neighborhood feud, maybe it's time to kind of release that and release that negativity and maybe do something positive. Maybe have like a barbecue and invite everybody over and just release the grudges. Holding on to a grudge doesn't do anything to hurt anybody else except yourself. And it's that extra little anger in your brain that you just don't need. So releasing of grudges is a great thing for if you're a Cancer sun or rising, and this is happening in your third house. Gemini sun or rising will put this into your fourth house. And this is maybe downsizing. Maybe you need to fine tune, where you're living. Maybe release some of those morals and traditions that can maybe hold you a little back too much about understanding that life is changing around us, that things really aren't working for you anymore in this way. Maybe it's, just very strict religious beliefs or something like that. Not that there's anything wrong with that. And I totally understand if you're religious. I'm religious myself, but sometimes those really strict beliefs and traditions can hold you back from change, and especially change within your family. So, while we always do this on this day, so maybe you need to release that and, kind of be more accepting of everybody else. And maybe also with fourth house, that could be a lot of holding on to childhood trauma, things that happened to you back when you were young. So with Gemini, a sun or rising, if you do have some childhood trauma, and maybe that you've been kind of trying to push down, maybe it's a good time to really seek a therapist. And that's again about clearing that mental health and working on that mental health. If you're a Taurus sun or rising, this puts this into your fifth house. So that is, again, releasing that self-criticism or mental block that keeps you from creating that masterpiece that you want. So maybe if you want to be a writer, but you're like, oh, I just don't think I'm good enough. Or if you want to be a painter and, things are just keeping you from being that person because you just have that self-criticism. You want to release that and just know, do it. Make sure you're having fun and doing what you love, and other people will love it too, because you're putting that love and that expression, that self-expression into what you do. That's what I try and do with these channels here and with speaking to you guys, I try and put my passion for astrology into that and really just kind of spread it out to make it understandable, hopefully to make it understandable for all y'all out there. It's something that I love passionately. And even though, YouTube, it does take a lot to really get followers and get, to actually start making money off it. I do it because I just love it, and I just love really putting a lot of work in, just explaining things, and I think it's a lot of fun anyway, and bring you guys to beautiful places like this. So anyway, you want to keep that self-consciousness also, if you're a Taurus sun or rising, from keeping you from having fun, that stubbornness and self-criticism. You want to, don't be self-conscious. Just go out and do it, and who cares what people think? Sometimes you just need to get to that point in your life where you just don't care. Aries sun or rising puts this new moon in your 6th house. Maybe you want to lose that extra pounds. Maybe that's the thing you have to release. So starting a new workout program, maybe find a way to be more streamlined and efficient in your everyday life, in cleaning, or just when you get up in the morning, maybe you're getting up and maybe you can carve like 10 minutes off of that and do a little bit of meditation in the morning before getting up. So because it's just about fine tuning and making things a little bit easier and just being, that much more, streamlined in your everyday life. Pisces sun or rising will focus on 7th house affairs, and we got a boat coming behind us. This is going to be relationships or partnerships that you may need to really walk away from. 7th house is really about that relationships, and this could be in your regular love relationships, or it could be partnerships as far as work goes. And so, maybe that person isn't quite right for you. Maybe you need to split up when it comes to work, even partnerships that you might need to walk away from. That might get a little bit difficult, I know, but you have to think of what's right for you, and if this mentally good for you. Is this good for your mental health, or is it just messing with your mental health and you're just kind of stringing something along that you need to just let it go and let it float away like a balloon. So that is the Pisces sun or rising. So then Aquarius sun, moon, or rising. This will be happening in your 8th house. This is about ridding yourself of self-doubt and anxiety. If you have high anxiety, things that eat at you, you really, might need to speak to somebody about it. Get positive energy coming your way. Maybe use different crystals, work on meditation to just kind of calm yourself, maybe in a more positive way. Maybe if you're running to, if that anxiety is making you drink or, do drugs, maybe to kind of try to escape from it, maybe that's the thing that you need to release from. You have to do things in a more positive way. Anyway, so, or, maybe if you have a tax burden, maybe that's the thing that you have to pay off. Or maybe if you have high credit card debt, that could be something that could be eating at you that you need to get released from. So maybe look into, doing a big payment and getting rid of that, or, seeing if you could make some kind of agreement to ease yourself of that a little bit. Capricorn sun or rising, this might, again, be in that kind of that religious strictness. Maybe you're taking too many classes, because this is all happening in your 9th house. Doing too much travel for work, perhaps. Maybe that's all you do is you're on a plane, off a plane, on a plane, off a plane, and you just don't have that time to really settle and feel at home. So maybe you just need to be a little more open-minded in general. So, maybe you just need to release a little bit of that, just that kind of, those overly structured, overly preachy, either professors or religious leaders that might be kind of just, too much, a little bit too much for you. That cultish kind of, you don't want that brainwashing. You want to be able to think for yourself and not just think how other people would like you to think. Anyway, Sagittarius, sun or rising puts us in your 10th house. So you know, this is your 10th house of career, your reputation. So maybe you're burning the midnight oil at work and you're not focused on your family. Maybe you're ignoring your family and you need to kind of release a little bit of that to focus on what is nice. Like right now, for instance, you know, we all have to have a job and work, but being here, like now, you know, we have this extra long weekend. My husband and I just came up here to get away for a few days, and look, it's just calming and it's nice. And sometimes you need to do that. Or maybe you're just overly focused on your reputation, not letting others see you for who you really are, and just being afraid. And I know also what that can be like, because I've always, of course, been into a lot of odd things, astrology, tarot, you know, all that kind of stuff. I've done ghost hunting, all sorts of different things that a lot of times I didn't want people to know about me, because I said, no, people think I'm weird. Well, you know what? I don't care anymore. And it's a great place to be, where you just don't care what people think, because you're being true to yourself. So sometimes that will give you an even better reputation. So that is, if this is kind of coming out in your 10th house. Scorpio sun or rising, you'll need to get rid of toxic people in your life. If you have those friends that just, you know, they just are a lot of burden, or they're just toxic, maybe they're just more negative, they keep you from being happy, or they emanate that negativity, and maybe, you know, it makes you feel bad because you absorb that from other people. So those people you kind of want to release from your life, and sometimes it is hard to get rid of a friend. Maybe don't get rid of them entirely, or just maybe kind of take a little bit of a step back and just focus on, okay, you know what, am I just doing things because of them? Is it like a peer pressure or that? So that's a Scorpio sun or rising. So really be that Scorpio and look into yourself. And sometimes you have to do things that might make people uncomfortable. But if you're a Scorpio, then you're used to that kind of stuff. You know, you're tough. And you do what you need to do for you. And that is a great Scorpio trait. Finally, if you are a Libra sun or rising, you have those secret skeletons in your closet that continue to haunt you. That unworthiness, maybe that embarrassment that keeps these things hidden. Maybe that you just don't want people to know those, but you want to really be able to release this and shine in life. You can't, again, that's that, you know, being embarrassed of who you are, maybe where you come from, hiding things, hiding maybe things in a certain relationship that you're in because you're putting on that false front. That's that 12th house energy of just hiding things. So with all, that's pretty much all the signs. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. What sign are you? Where do you think you need to release something from your life? And how can you work on that to make it a little bit easier to let go? With all the outer planets plus Saturn. So we have Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto all in retrograde right now. So this might be a lot more inner reflection and contemplation, and this new moon is like a kickstart to that really that inner deep concentration, reflection on who I want to be and where do I want to go from here. So again, let me know where this is all hitting you guys in your charts. I'd love to hear what you have to say and what you look forward to with this new moon. Be sure to like, subscribe, and get notified of future videos. We got a lot of fun stuff coming up, guys, and I will see you soon. And stay tuned, especially because we are going to Montana, so we'll have some videos coming from up there later in the month. We're going to have a lot of fun, so be sure to subscribe, and I will see y'all soon. Bye.